Hello, and today we're con- Hello, and today we'll continue with Reconnected, glowing strips of teal and aquamarine stretch across the confines of the chamber, causing it to pulse and simmer like the very infrastructure itself is alive while softly beating hard. The opulent rivers of light provide a faint glow to my surroundings, but they only add to my feelings of unease. Sitting across from us, behind the desk, is a Zenilarian with harsh brown eyes, a neat black suit, and striking gold buttons coursing down the length of his tape vest, or his top vest. An aura of authority radiates from every strand of his white fur as he waves his paw commandingly towards us. He looks to my left, where Kai is, and see a peacekeeper approach his back with a threatening aura. I growl deeply at the sight, afraid for what might happen to the Crypt Wolf. What the hell is that bastard going to do with him? A deeply rooted protective instinct kicks in, compelling me to get the peacekeeper away from Kai at all costs, even if I am still gagged and bound. To my surprise, the armored assailant reaches down, pulling out a device that he presses to the bindings around Kai's paws, causing them to detach with a subtle click. The same sound echoes from behind me, and the constant pressure holding my shoulders releases in an instant. I reach my paws around my body and place them on my lap, massaging the blood back into my extremities. You two have a lot of explaining to do. The level tone of the Zenarian's voice sends a chill down my spine, rippling across my fur like a strong wind. I go to speak, but the muzzle wrapped around my head clamps down harder, halting any and all attempts at speech. He rolls his eyes before waving his paw again at the peacekeepers standing behind us. Oh, for God's sake, set them free. These pups are going to behave all day. Kai gently nods, affirming our cooperation, indicating that he intends to comply. I suddenly start to feel gears and mechanisms twisting and turning against my nose, and then the trap falls free, clattering loudly against the tile floors. Kai yawns, stretching out his muzzle in the same manner I am, albeit with a bit more fervor. About damn time. That thing was fucking torture device. That thing was a fucking torture device. That thing was a fucking torture device. The moment I am able to speak, I turn to Kai, concerned, washing over my expressions like a waterfall. Oh, you okay, big guy? He flashes me a hint of a smirk, but I can see pain lurking behind his weary eyes. Yes, little one, I'm okay. Enough of that. The stoic Zenilarian slams a paw against his desk, the harsh clang echoing through our enclosed space. I settle my attention back onto the commanding presence sitting in front of me, a bit of a nervous shake moving into my paws. I don't know what the hell this guy wants from us, but it obviously can't be benevolent. Those peacekeepers would have beaten Kai to death if I didn't do anything, and this has to be the guy that's responsible for it. Now, you two are going to do exactly what I say, and we can get through this without any more pain. Deal? His eyes dart back and forth between Kai and myself, staring us down like a hungry predator sizing up its next meal. The Zenilarian's lips pull back in a faint snarl, The light playing across his eyes dims ever so slightly as he glares from across the room, looking like he just tasted something bitter. He's disgusted by us. He thinks we're both just some reprehensible miscreants. Nothing more than vermin that he has to dispose. You're going to tell me why you two killed that student in the hall, okay? Lie to me, and you will be socked. Attempt to stand from your chairs, and you will be socked. Hell, you two so much as breathe without my permission, and you will be socked. Do I make myself clear? And don't you even dare deny what you did. We know it was you two. Muscles all over my body clenched down hard at his words, and my paws dig into my thighs like the mere thought of entertaining his wild accusation has my body revolting. The sensation feels like the ground is slowly crumbling out beneath my feet, just moments away from falling off a cliff. Deny what? We didn't fucking do anything wrong. A quick and subtle glance to my left shows me that Kai is having a pretty similar reaction. He looks beyond tense, his tail thrashing from side to side in anger and frustration. What the fuck am I supposed to say? If I deny it, he's just going to have me beaten. If I lie and say it was me, then I'll probably be beaten too. It's a lose-lose situation, and I don't really have a card to play here. The only way to win is to not play the game at all. I stay completely silent, hoping desperately that Kai does the same, and to my relief he remains quiet. I stay completely silent, hoping desperately that Kai does the same, and to my relief he remains quiet. Our refusal to speak must spark something within the Zenilarian, because his intense eyes become impossibly more stern. He nods knowingly, his eyes drifting down to his paws, and his disappointed smirk teases more prominently across his muzzle. Nothing to say? I know what it means when perps don't want to talk. I am no fool. You wish to deny it, don't you? He looks desperate. He looks directly at us, leaning further into a more aggressive display of his perceived dominance. I will advise that you don't. You won't like where that road leads. Trust me, I've been down it more times than you can count with other murders just like you. But I digress. I put hundreds of your kind in stasis cells, and I know exactly what it takes to get the truth. His grin turns wicked as he casually kicks his feet up onto the desk, like he doesn't have a single care in the world. Like I always say, the best way to get rid of trash like you is to burn it. He gives a nod to the peacekeepers while still menacingly standing guard behind us. Will you be so kind as to loosen up their tongues for me? I hear the peacekeepers' kinetic staves charge up behind me, and fear immediately surges through my veins, coursing through my whole body. My heart starts to beat rapidly, and it takes every ounce of self-control, and I have to remain seated, even if every fiber of my being is screaming at me to fight. Kai snarls viciously, flexing his deadly claws at his side as he looks over his shoulder at his would-be attacker. Oh shit, he's going to try and fight back. Kai can't take another beating like he did in the dorm room. I can't let that happen to him. He doesn't stand a chance. Wait. I raise up my paws, trying to get the attention onto myself, but more importantly, pulling it away from Kai. There's no need for that. They all turn to look at me. The Zenilarian behind the desk looks me up and down with a suspicious glint in his eye. Shit, I don't fucking know what to say. I have to think of something, and I have to think of it fast. Just anything to buy us some time to figure this out. I take a deep breath, forcing myself to swallow down the dry saliva coating the inside of my throbbing muzzle. What is your name, sir? I'll need to know how to address you if I'm going to explain myself properly. The Zenilarian, giving the orders, blinks a few times in confusion as I address him, clearly taken aback by my sudden request. A fair enough request, I suppose. You're speaking to Chief Tallis, the one in charge of this peacekeeper precinct. All the city, all the capital city of Zenithir is under my jurisdiction, and that includes you two rats. Your friend Kai here has met me before, just a few days ago, when he was detained for questioning. I had my suspicions about him then, but I didn't know he had brought on his roommate as accomplice. Wait, Kai was brought here when the peacekeepers took him the first time? I assumed it was something a lot less intense than this. If he was brought before the chief himself, they must seriously think it was him. This is going to be a lot harder than I was expecting. Kai is still snarling, so I give him a subtle downward motion of my paws, urging him to settle before he makes this a lot worse for the both of us. Thank you for that, Chief Tallis, but if you'll hear us out, we actually have an alibi. Chief Tallis throws his head back in laughter and claps his paws together a few times, mocking my feeble attempts at defending myself. Chief Tallis throws his head back into laughter and claps his paws together a few times, mocking my feeble attempts at defending myself. The resulting silence was pointed and sharp, filled with just as much disbelief as the one who caused them as he rises from his chair. Is that so? You have an alibi? How quaint. Let's hear it then. What's your alibi? I can't wait to see how this plays out. Why don't you alibi your way out of this, Eco? He reaches out, grabbing some type of remote. With a click of one of the buttons, the screen behind him lights up, displaying something that looks like a video game. I lean forward, trying and getting a closer look at what's playing on the monitors. He reaches out, grabbing some type of remote. With a click of one of the buttons, the screen behind him lights up, displaying something that looks like video footage. I lean forward, trying to get a closer look at what's playing on the monitors. The perspective is being filmed near the ceiling, captured from some type of security camera within the university halls. Not just any hall, that's the hall outside mine and Kai's dorm. It shows footage standing there, a glazed expression over the individual's face. Their muscles are taut and stressed, like they're about ready to bite something. Oh my God, is that me? But why am I standing there, staring up at the ceiling? The fuck? I don't remember this ever happening. But is this when I was having my nightmare? Tallis presses another button, making the footage speed up as it fast forwards through hours and hours of me standing in the hall, gently swaying back and forth through the night. It's as if my body is nothing more than a stalk of wheat ready to be carried away on the breeze. My closed eyes never stop staring. My neck never stops craning up, like I'm being abducted by some unseen force. After a minute or two of the recording, which accounts for maybe 3 hours of footage, Tallis clicks again, playing the video in real time. A deep sense of unease claws its way into my chest, trying to burrow its way into my soul. Looking at myself like this, it is starting to mess with my head. It's as if I'm staring into some alternate dimension, staring at a clone of myself that has its own thoughts and desires. That's definitely me, but it can't be me, right? I really don't remember any of this. My body on the screen suddenly starts to convulse and pulses, head twitching violently from side to side, drool and spit a bucket of foam out of its mouth. The ghastly specter on the display starts to whisper, seemingly to no one but himself. A deep sense of unease claws its way into my chest, trying to burrow its way into my soul. Looking at myself like this, it's starting to mess with my head. It's as if I'm staring into some alternate dimension, staring at a clone of myself that has its own thoughts and desires. That's definitely me, but it can't be me, right? I really don't remember any of this. My body on the screen suddenly starts to convulse, the imposter's head twitching violently from side to side, drool and spittle begging to foam out of his mouth. The ghastly specter on the display starts to whisper, seemingly to no one but himself. I will devour you too. I see Kai look over at me in horror, seemingly terrified at how vicious I actually was in my subconscious state. The echo within the recording seizes up, releasing both arms towards the ceiling, clawing at nothing but thin air. Just then, in the footage, Kai is seen walking down the hall, breaking into a sprint at the sight of me, rushing to my side. I think we see enough. Talos clicks the remote, pausing the video just as Kai takes me gently into his arms, on screen while the real Kai beside me is looking shocked and concerned. He must not have known that I said that stuff or that I was out there for that long. I didn't know that either. I didn't know. I'll devour you too, huh, Eagle? Talos glares down his muzzle at me menacingly, searching through every detail on my face for signs of guilt or weakness. Seems pretty incriminating if you ask me. Far too specific to be mere coincidence that you are talking about devouring and eating people in the exact spot that a body is found dead less than 24 hours after this footage takes place. Not that I need to tell you, as I'm sure you're intimately aware, but I think it's pretty easy to classify the state of the body as devoured, wouldn't you? You did that for 2 days, didn't you, Ego? That shows premeditation and therefore motive. I want to know what that motive is. You're going to tell me. Motive? What motive could I possibly have to do such a thing? I wasn't even there. I was at the club with Kai. My words catch in my throat, refusing to spell forth and guard me from Talos' accusatory assault. You know what? Let me take a guess. Humor me for a moment. He rubs his snow-crested chin with one of his claws, pondering his thoughts as he sits back down in his chair. He rubs his snow-crested chin with one of his claws, pondering his thoughts as he sits back down in his chair. I pulled your records, Eco, brief as they are considering the duration of your stay here in my noble city. I couldn't help but notice a specific blood sample that was sent off via Mediped just yesterday. Talos' paws taps against the desk in satisfaction, knowing he has me right where he wants me. Star sickness, huh, Eco? He levels his eyes towards me, grinning smugly, like he just cornered his prey and is about to move in for the kill. Nasty little disease, isn't it? I experienced it myself once during a trip to the externary system. The hallucinations felt vivid, real, like everyone was out to get me for a few short hours. It felt like every saddle had a demon in it. Just a few well-placed words could have pushed me over the edge, or in this case, someone being in the wrong place at the wrong time. I can only imagine the effect that sensation would have on the mind to experience such horrors for nearly a week. Seeing gnashing teeth in every corner, every face of monstrosity, every person twisted into a demon that you need to protect yourself from. He lets out a low whistle, almost like he's impressed or something. I know that would have made me snap. Damn, I don't know who that wouldn't break. So tell me, Ego, how long has it been since it broke you? How long has it been since You just couldn't fight it off anymore. You just couldn't help yourself, could you, you fucking bastard? You were having some form of hallucination, thinking everything and everyone was out to get you, and that poor soul just happened to be in the wrong hall at the wrong time, didn't he? He wars across the room at me, his voice dripping with danger and threats. You're bigger than us Xenilarians, stronger too. That much is apparent. It must have been oh so easy for you to, what was your phrase again, devour him too? You're a fucking monster, whether you realize it or not. You're nothing more than a bomb that doesn't know where its own fuse is. My tail thrashes wildly behind me as I sit there, my inner voice boiling over. There's something deep inside me, something primal, something instinctual. It's telling me to grab his stupid fucking muzzle and whip it off. Anything to stop the lies pouring out of his fucking mouth. I go up at the air around me, trying to choke down the violence brewing in me like a potent cocktail of bad endings, because I know it's not the way out of this. I can't because the monster he thinks I am, I have to be smarter than the beast inside. My paws lift me off of my seat, not to attack him, but to defend myself. It's not true, and you know it's not. What about Nika and Jakar? I wasn't even on Xenilair for the murders, so how could I be held liable for all this? You're reaching and not, well, you're reacting, I think, and not even very convincingly. You're reacting and not even very convincingly. It's not possible for me to be the killer. Talus casually raises his paw. You're reacting, and not even very convincingly. It's not possible for me to be the killer. Talus casually raises his paw, and the peacekeeper behind me grabs me by the shoulders, forcing me firmly down in my chair with mechanically augmented strength. My, how defensive. Someone's got it too. His voice is filled to the brim with disdain, and he sounds oh so eager to prove me wrong. I didn't say anything about you killing Nika and Jakar. The responsibility for their murders falls on Kai here. Talus points over at the towering Quit Wolf seated beside me, accusation filling every one of his pointed and deliberate movements. Kai growls deeply, his voice darkening into a dangerous rumbling thunder as he points a claw back at the chief. I did not do such a thing. You know this to be true, Talus. We discussed this at length previously. The blame falls on Kai. What the fuck is he talking about? The Quit Wolf growls again and stands up from his chair, the muscles twitching with potential energy. Talus's brows furrows as Kai rises from his feet, and he nods to one of the peacekeepers, saying two words that make my heart sink to my toes. Beat him. Oh no. Before I have time to react, not like I even could while I'm being held down, I see a kinetic staff arc over Kai's shoulder, whipping him across the muzzle. His throat releases a scream of pain as he falls off the edge of the seat onto the floor, throwing his paws up to his face in agony as he tries to defend himself. The peacekeeper responsible walks slowly over to Kai's battered form, raising the weapon once again. All reservations escape my body, replaced by pure desperation and panic to save my friend from his torturous fate. I whip my claws about, knocking the Xenilarian's paws off my shoulders, and I leap to my feet. Stop it, just stop it. We didn't do anything, I swear. We were at Club Vorotech last night. People saw us. Jay saw us. Talus waves the peacekeeper dismissively away as Kai continues to whimper in pain. clutching at his head. The chief yells at me over his desk, the authority in his voice a compelling order. I warned him what the consequences were of getting heated. He chose it, not me. He goes to point again at Kai to command the beating to continue, and I realize I'm helpless to stop the assault. As helpless as a rat in a cage watching him wither away. I beg you, whatever you think Kai did, he didn't do it. I didn't do it. I couldn't have. We were at the club Vortex, I swear it. Please, I swear it. Just don't hurt him, please. Callus turns his attention fully towards me, still holding his paw above his head, ready to deliver the orders against Kai. What proof do you have? The word of some low-life scumbag who say anything you ask him to for a quick buck? I don't think that's going to cut it. I don't think you morons fucking understand that people are dying in my city, and I'm going to bring you to justice. Anger wells up inside me at his continued accusations, and I throw all pretenses to the wind. Then calling Jace, I'm certain he has footage of us. Just get in contact with him, please. Whether you believe him or not, you have to believe footage. What you're doing isn't justice, it's torture. One more hit on Kai's head, you could kill him. And then you're the martyr here, regardless of what you think he did. Callus grimaces and sits back down into his chair, contemplating my words for a brief moment. Kai's weak groans reverberate from his prone position on the floor, an agonized chorus playing on repeat over the tension in the air. Go, call this Jay's character. He's ordered to be here within an hour. Detain him if needed. Provide him no choice. If this alibi is real, we need to see evidence of the contrary before we can legally proceed. In the meantime, Callus's words are cut short as a particularly loud groan of anguish billows out of Kai, and his eyes roll in annoyance at the sound. Fucking hell. Help the damn dog up into the chair before you go. The sounds don't bother him. This fucker must be used to hearing people scream out of pain. The peacekeeper nods, hooking his paws up under Kai's limp shoulders, struggling to lift Kai's considerable weight on his own. After a few moments of having, Callus grumbles in frustration, calling over the peacekeeper behind me. Go help them, damn crip wolves. Too big for their own good. A minute or two of exertion passed by, and their pair finally managed to get Kai upright into the seat. His breathing is heavy, and his head slumps off to one side with glassy eyes, expression overcome by a dark fog. This so-called alibi will defend you, only for the murder yesterday, but still makes no account of Nika and Jakar. Kai is still liable for that until further notice, and even with this being said, I still believe it's possible you could have done the murders yesterday. What the hell is he talking about? He has no proof. If there's fucking footage of me in the hall standing during my nightmare, then why isn't there footage of the murder? Gosh, Kai looks like he's in rough shape too, and wait. But why isn't there footage of the murder? If it happened in the exact spot I was standing the night before, and he has footage of it, then why doesn't he have footage of the murder? Callus, why haven't you shown the footage of the murder to us? You have video of me in the hall in the exact spot where that alien was killed. So why are you trying to bully us for a confession instead of just showing me killing him and having it be done with? What can you possibly gain from toying with us like this? Or do you just enjoy torturing anyone who comes through here like a fucking sadist? Callus's cocky smirk is driven away by a saddle, like a saddle before a lamp, replaced by a wizard frown that stretches down both corners of his mouth. He folds his paws together on the desk, and he almost seems frustrated. Guess it got a wise out of him. Hopefully he doesn't take that frustration out on me, or even worse, Kai. Tyler's mutters something incoherently under his breath and grabs the remote once again. With a few dexterous clicks of his suddenly second pause, another video pops up on the screen. The displays flicker for only a moment before the images of me in the hall are replaced with entirely new ones. It's from the same camera in the hallway outside our door, but the hall is empty, completely empty. A few seconds pass on screen before a young Zenilarian walks into view, standing completely unaware in that cursed spot. Is that the victim, the one I saw in the ceiling last night? The individual pauses his movements, looking over his shoulder and lifting up his paw like he's waving at someone. Waving at someone that's not visible in the footage. Yeah. Oh, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. How have you been? The victim's voice is cheery, almost pleasant. Just a flower gently soaking in the sun, completely unaware of the sickle approaching it. Knowing that something gruesome is mere seconds away from happening sets me on edge, and I can't seem to stop my teeth from grinding together. I want so desperately to reach out, to scream at him, to tell him to run, to tell him of the danger he's in. The Zenilarian on screen tilts his head forward as if he's looking directly at something he can't quite make sense of. Are you okay, dude? You don't look so good. And what's wrong with your eyes? Are you sick? Do you need me to call someone to help you out? A vicious growl echoes through the speakers, gripping my very soul with its unyielding claws. I can't watch this. I can't fucking watch this. I'm gonna be sick. Fear bubbles up inside of me, yet my eyes remain glued to the monitors, unable to look away. If I ripped my eyes out, I'd still be here, still witnessing this horrific scene. Oh gosh, man, you really don't look good. Why are you... Oh, fuck. A heavy footstep crashes in the hall, causing the victim to take a step back. Wait. Don't tell me there's no way. Another step. Another snarl. Oh, fuck, it's you. It's you. Someone help. His voice is cut short as an invisible force slashes him across the chest, spraying blood onto the floor, painting it red with his life essence. The Zenilarian stumbles forward, his body landing upon something unseen just in front of him. I lean further. The Zenilarian stumbles forward, his body landing upon something unseen just in front of him. I lean further in my chair, trying to understand what the fuck I just saw. What? The killer is invisible. What the fuck is... Just then the Zenilarian gasped, lifted weightlessly up into the air like a doll, limbs flailing and thrashing against whatever is overpowering him, and his arm discharges thick rivulets of blood as it's ripped clean off the torso, but the blood doesn't cascade out onto the ground like it should. It splashes onto something, or someone. It looks almost like the blood is just hovering there, suspended in mid-air, gently trickling down the thorough form of the murderer. A flash of light, a glint of death. An enormous pair of fangs appear out of nothingness, revealing themselves to the camera as they begin chewing on the visual prize. Bit by bit, piece by bloody piece, the arm is being swallowed, devoured. With a sickening crunch of bone, the elbow snaps in two, and what remains of the bicep is greedily scarfed down, vanishing from sight. I see a scarlet tongue flicker out, dripping gore onto the floor as it laps tantalizingly against its glistening teeth before they hungrily consume what little remains of the arm. As the last finger slips past its maw, the corpse twists in the air as it's shaken by the beast. A horrible whipping sound sweeps into the room from the screen as the final vestiges of life are snuffed from the soon-to-be corpse. Ribs snap, flesh winds, white fur flies across the hall as the chest of the victim tears open, coating the assailant with waves from a deep red ocean. Long silhouetted arms reach up into the corpse, sending small swings of the Xenolarian's ichor out onto the floor as a claw plunges into the victim's chest cavity. A still beating heart, futilely serving its former master, floats out into the gruesome scene, suspended in a wicked grip. The throbbing organ gently rises up, being lifted into its internal resting place as the fangs pierce through its supple flesh with a pleased grin. A slurp, a squish, a spray of viscera, and the heart is swallowed whole, vanishing into the throat of the dark being. The monster forces its muzzle into the body of the deceased, and it starts to drink its fill, draining every delicious drop of blood it can. I shut my eyes, trying desperately to block out the horrors being displayed so brazenly before me, but the sounds still rattled me to my core. The ghastly symphony of the body being picked apart like nothing more than a piece of meat beneath a flock of ravenous birds spills forth in a guttural crescendo. A claw reaches up, stretching high to the ceiling as it cleaves the metal panel above it in two. Like a wicked spectre, the body floats up weightlessly in the beast's grips. The victim's torso catches on the soft edges of the cavern, ripping chunks of his body off as he stares into his final resting place. A shallow grave for a poor soul. Blood trickles down from the ceiling, adorning the head of the murderer with a crown of crimson thorns. As the beast is painted red, its form emerges into view, outlined by the vicious river coursing down his body. The killer is impossibly tall and thick beyond belief, towering in gruesome space, nothing more than a black hole. A black hole that the victim had no chance of escaping, his very soul swallowed up by the event horizon. My mind races, trying its best to decipher what it had just witnessed. It's fucking massive. My God, look at the size of that thing. As gore continues to define the contours of its body, I see a grin appear across the footage, smiling right at me. The monster cleans the scene thoroughly, clearing away all visible traces with meticulous care, making it seem like nothing had ever happened. When only one small puddle remains, a pair of claws dip inside it, coating each deadly desert with living paint. They reach up to the ceiling above, and with all the skill of an artisan, they scrawl out the corpse's final epitaph. I'll devour you too. The shape of the monster's head tilts, facing the camera directly with a devilish smirk, before its distorted voice cascades over the scene. I'll be seeing you soon, won't I? It moves one bloody paw down across its silhouetted body, reaching for its waist. There's an electric sound that is nearly impossible to describe, like the very air itself is rippling and sifting beneath the artificial tone. Slowly the form of the assailant begins to cloak itself once more, concealing the bloody beast from view. Moments before it completely vanishes, I see the monster begin stalking away, its work completely done. The video stops, putting an end to the terrifying display, pulling my mind away from that nightmare I was never meant to see. Chief Talus glares over his muzzle at Kai and myself. How did you do it? How did you trick the cameras like this, Did you hack the system? Some type of spectral obscuring device? I don't know how you did it, but I know it was you too. So start talking. How did I? He thinks I did that. Even still, after all the shit he just saw with his own two eyes, he is convinced I am the one responsible. I could never overpower someone that easily, let alone rip a hole in the fucking ceiling with my bare hands. Keller says, it's just then that the realization of the situation dawns upon me, like a light simmering in a distant dark. Keller says, he's just grasping at straws. He has no fucking clue who actually did the murder. All he has is the footage of my episode and of the murder, and he's trying to force two pieces from different puzzles together. This is all a fucking scam. I glance over at Kai, noticing that he's starting to come back to his senses after the brutal assault. I'm not going to let this guy bully us. Yeah, he's got all the power here, but what he doesn't have is proof. I'm not going to let him pin this one on me or Kai. We were at Club Vortex. We were not here doing this. When Jace gets here, he will confirm my story. I don't know what that was in the video. I don't know who did that, but I'm telling you, it wasn't us. My voice is firm, sounding confident and absolute as it surges from my chest. Whatever that is, it's massive, probably even larger than Kai. I can assure you Talos stands up from his desk, his body quaking with rage as he points his paw at me. Is that so? That's really what you think is going to get you off of the hook? Then perhaps you'd like to explain this to me. There you go. He reaches for a nearby data pad, his paw swiping over the screen as he finds whatever it is he intends to show me. What did you mean exactly when you said, and I quote, stay away from me? One more step and I'll fucking kill you. You hear me? I'll fucking kill you, you son of a bitch. He's gonna kill me. It's him. It was always him. Tyler sits down, the data pad, his accusatory eyes settling on Kai. Seems to me like even you believe Kai is the one responsible for this, and I can see no good reason why you would say such things without a reason. What happened that night? Did Kai give you something to make you paralyzed while he went and orchestrated this killing? Kai, who is now rubbing tenderly at his injured muzzle, raises his paw in protest. I did no such thing. Eagles, my friend, and I would not harm him in such a manner. Eco was afflicted by star sickness, as you mentioned before. This was merely a symptom manifesting itself in a very visible way. He was having a hallucination. It is documented by the medical professional in the report that you were discussing earlier. It is perfectly reasonable that a mind as shattered as his would fabricate such things, given the circumstances of what is happening at Aurelia during this time. You cannot use this against him. We do not know what horrors his mind is showing him, but there are nothing more than that, lies and horrors. Lies and horrors seen through the eyes of one incapable of stopping them from running rampant in his thoughts. Kai sits up straighter in his chair, challenging Talus directly, but still remaining respectful. Ego is afflicted by star sickness, and you mentioned before. That was merely a symptom manifesting itself in a very visible way. He was having a hallucination. This is documented by the medical professional in the report that you were discussing earlier. I didn't do such a thing. Ego is my friend, and I would not harm him in such a manner. Ego was afflicted by star sickness, and as you mentioned before, this was merely a symptom manifesting itself in a very visible way. He was having hallucinations. This is documented by the medical professional in the report that you were discussing earlier. It is particularly reasonable that a mind as shattered as his would fabricate such things, given the circumstances of what is happening at Aurelia during this time. You must not use this against him. We do not know what horrors his mind is showing him, but they are nothing more than that, lies and horrors. Lies and horrors seen through the eyes of one incapable of stopping them from running rampant in his thoughts. Kai sits up straighter in his chair, challenging Callus directly, but still remaining respectful. He's defending me. Even now, Kai's trying to keep me safe. Even after all that shit he saw me do on the cameras, he's still trying to protect me. Eco's innocent. I'm innocent. I know you desperately want this to be solved. I desire it too, but I can assure you that this is nothing more than a circumstance of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Callus scoffs, but he doesn't react in the way I expect him to. He scratches at his fur, almost like he's deciding whether or not to believe the words being said to him, regardless of how outlandish they might seem. We will wait for Jace. All this is meaningless without his testimony, as there is no way to confirm the truth. For your sake, I hope he is convincing. For 2 nights, Eco stands in the scene of the murder. This is far too specific for me. This is far too specific to be mere coincidence, and I will have my answers. He sits back down in his chair, rubbing at his furry temples as he tries to make sense of this new conflicting information. Until then, you will remain silent. I need to think. A sigh of relief escapes my throat as I look over at Kai and our eyes meet. Understanding passes silently between us like a telepathic message that says, we're gonna be okay. Gods, I hope so. I can't believe the things Callus just showed me. An invisible killer, one that doesn't show up on camera. Anything is possible, but one thing is clear to me now. It wasn't Kai. Time slowly stretches away from us as we wait for Jace, our savior, to come to the rescue. The air is tense, like even the slightest bit of motion will cause it to shatter into a million pieces. I've never been one to put stock in fairy tales, but now it seems like I'm caught right in the middle of one. Caught in the middle of a story too supernatural and fabricated to be explained away with rational thoughts. Why was I there? What does that phrase mean? The one that's been on repeat ever since I saw it the night before. 9 days and I will devour you too. I just don't know, but it's ominous to say the least. Just then Talus leans forward and clears his throat, staring my attention away from his introspection. Eco, tell me just one thing. Do you know what happened on Kotera? What happened to Kai's people? My ears perk forward at his sudden query, just as shocked as I am that he's addressing me. What does that have to do with anything? Yes, I know what happened. You're referring to the Volparian invasion. Talus nods his You're referring to the Volparian invasion. Talus nods his affirmation to me, his alabaster fur bristling slightly around the eyes. Yes, I'm talking about that. It seems like my good friend Kai here decided to confide in someone after all. I wasn't sure if he had it in him. So much rage and aggression bottled up in a body that powerful is a recipe for disaster. But now I'm curious. Tell me, Eco, did Kai let you know how he feels about being here? How he truly feels about being here on Zenelair? Do you really know what exactly you're living with? Just how monstrous of an individual he actually is? Something tells me you don't fully understand the depth of his motivations and why I'm convinced it is he that killed Nika and Jakar, even if I don't have the evidence to prove it. Yet. A sense of panic squirms its way through my veins, spreading its way through my bloodstream like a virus. Kai's motivation? What the hell is Talus talking about? Motivations for what? Kai looks downcast, staring at his paws as he twiddles them together absent-mindedly. He hasn't, has he? He never told you about his hatred, about his burning desire to kill. Kill, 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 kill. Kai, what the hell is he talking about? He didn't tell you that if he had it in his that if he had it his way, he'd set this whole fucking planet ablaze as he goes down with the flames. Perhaps it would be wiser for you to be a bit more wary of your friend here, if you're stupid enough to call him that. That thing is a fucking monster, one I intend to put in a cell for the rest of its wretched days. His words are laced with cyanide as he spits his vitriol in my direction. First, the kite's fur bristles intensely, and I see his muscles tensing as he struggles to remain calm. It's not his nature to let someone so openly berate him like this. Talus's muzzle grows smug once again, knowing he's succeeding at getting a rise out of the Crip Wolf. So he's getting mad again. It makes no sense for Kai to want to do anything to Zenithir, considering they're his only hope for saving his people. All this Talus guy is trying to do is weaken our friendship. He's trying to pit us against one another. He has to be. Whatever he thinks Kai is beneath all that mourning and sadness is wrong. And I'm not going to let him get to me. Kai, you have to calm down, bud. You know, I don't know. Kai, you have to calm down, bud. I don't know. Kai, you have to calm down, bud. I don't want you to get hit again. He's just saying this to make you mad. You don't have to give him the satisfaction of being who he thinks you are. You're better than that. Chalice chuckles and sinister grin, responding to his words. Echoes right, young Crip Wolf. Keep your emotions under control, or I will control them for you. This guy he's a fucking jerk. Nothing more than a jerk and a bully. He's trying to get us to confess to something that we didn't do. But now that I know he doesn't actually have anything on me, I'm feeling a little more bold. Besides, Kai, we both know he doesn't actually have anything against you. If he did, we wouldn't be here having this conversation. He's just trying to piss you off. Remember what we said to one another a long time ago? Don't give him a reason. Just calm down, big guy. Zay should be here soon, and then this will all be behind us. Talus's cocky demeanor sinks like a broken ship, drifting to the bottom of the restless sea. Watch your mouth, Solarian. I'm not beneath having you beaten too, with nothing more than insolence alone. You're not citizens here. Your Mongols have no rights. Now, fucking pathetic. Gods, I hate Zenithirians so fucking much. Egotistical bastards, every single one. I can see Kai slowly relax once more, realizing the truth of my statements. He places one leg over the other as we settle in to wait for Jace, feeling a lot more calm than we were a few moments ago. I hope he shows up soon. This peace is definitely fleeting, if Talus's temper is anything to base it off. He's a loose cannon who knows what's going to set him off next. A few more moments pass by and I can hear a commotion erupting in the hall, accompanied by a familiar deep voice. Get your fucking paws off me. I told you that I'm complying. The door behind us swings open, slamming itself loudly against the wall. Jay stumbles into the room. The two peacekeepers push him from behind. His eyes grow wide as he sees Kai and myself in rough shape, with Talus commanding the space around us. Jay's posture immediately softens and he rushes over to Kai, concern lacing his every step. Kai, Magborn, Vada, Denag. His voice is cut short as Talus roars from behind, from across his desk. None of that, Cortelian. You will speak, Galactic Common. You will speak it now. I will not have you conspiring with that beast right in front of me. Do I make myself clear? Jace pauses mid-step as the gravity of the situation crashes into him that this is a lot more serious than his otherwise expected. He looks down at Kai, sympathy for his friend peering through his eyes. Jace looks to be unharmed, which is a welcome sight, but it's clear he's really confused as to why he's here. My apologies, sir. He regards Chief Chalice with a critical tone, one that is authoritative yet humble at the same time. Thank the gods he's here. Now we can get this shit settled finally. You address Chief Chalice, and that's all you need to know. Do you bring the datapad as you were bidden? Jace doesn't really seem surprised at the Zenlarian's title. Thank the gods he's here. Now we can get this shit settled finally. You address Chief Chalice, and that's all you need to know. Did you bring the datapad as you were bidden? Jace doesn't really seem surprised at the Zenlarian's title. His composure is cool and collected as usual. Of course. Now do you mind telling me the reason for all this? Mind telling me why you have my friend here looking like he's walking on his last leg? He gestures to Kai, noting the Singh's fur and the prominent bruises across his head and muzzle. Talus growls under his breath, clearly not happy with Jace's demands. Talus growls under his breath, clearly not happy with Jace's demands. I ask the questions here, not you, Quaterian. And if you want to remain unharmed, I highly advise that you do exactly what I say. Now, do you have the footage of your club from last night? Jace seems taken aback, clearly not understanding the context of the situation he's been forced in, but he nods all the same, holding up his data pad for all to see. Yeah? Are you asking to see it? What are you looking for exactly? Talus nods eagerly, motioning for Jace to approach him. Good. Can you confirm that these two degenerates here were in your establishment last night? My fur bristles at his continued insults. It's fucking baseless, and he's simply throwing a tantrum at this point. Everything he thought he knew is a fucking lie, and he can't handle that fact. Absolutely. Kai and Eco were at Vortex for a few hours last night. I served them drinks, they danced, had a good time, that is all that occurred. A bit of my unease fades away at Jace's gracious discretion. Thanks for not telling him about all the other stuff we did, Jace. I owe you that one. I hope my gratitude is palpable even if I know better than to talk out of turn right now. Talus grimaces at the confession that he's hearing, clearly not expecting mine and Kai's story to have any truth to it. You can prove this with footage. Jace nods once more, his tail swishing with agitation as he walks up to the desk, data pad outstretched in his muscled paws. Then why I can. The logs are already piled up. Then why I can. The logs are already pulled up. He sets the device down and steps away, standing next to Kai, with only a small gap between them. Telos picks it up, eagerly hunting through the recordings, as he watches all the color drains from his face as it slowly becomes a blank state. The chief picks up his own data pad, setting it beside Jace's as he compares the two. Minutes pass by in an instant as we wait for him to come to a conclusion, but to realize that we're telling the truth. Telos sighs, offering Jace's property back to him, even if his movements are begrudging. Thank you for your cooperation, Jace. It has been most enlightening. He straightens out his jacket and lays down his fur, composing himself fully before he speaks again. It would seem that my theory has been proven false, for now. But make no mistake, you too. Talus snarls as he glares at Kai and myself, a threatening aura radiating off of him in waves. This might temporarily prove your innocence, but this doesn't mean you're off the hook just yet. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. You mark my words. If you two are truly not involved and you don't want to end up back here in a few days' time, I recommend you stay out of trouble. That being said, Eco, Jace, you are both free to go. I have a few more questions for Kai here regarding Nika and Jakar that do not involve you. He points to the door, commanding us to leave. Now get out of my sight. Peacekeepers rushed forward at his proclamation to escort us from the building. Yeah. Wait, he's keeping Kai? What more could he possibly want with him? Jace proved us innocent. Wait, he's keeping Kai? What more could he possibly want from him? Jace proved us innocent. Jace proved us. Wait, he's keeping Kai? What more could he possibly want from him? Jace proved us innocent. Kai has already proved his innocence for Nika and Jakar. What else does he need? Regardless of my internal resistance, I am ushered through the exit right beside Jace. We walk down the same corridor as when we entered, and just like that, we're escorted out onto the street. What is this right here? There's a fox. There's some kind of fox scanning around. Yeah. So we're gonna. So we'll continue next time. So I believe the chief wants to keep Kai there just to get on his nerves, basically. Because he convinced in his mind that either Kai or Eco are involved in that. But because, because Eco, I think he did a good job handling himself in there. I mean, yeah, he has reason to get angry at this police chief, but he kept himself calm. He certainly was a better person in that room. Not in the police chief was just this petulant, egotistical, bigoted person. I mean, he basically called Kai and Eco vermin, or mongrels. So I guess they're guilty already in his mind simply because they're a species that he doesn't like. Yeah, they're just. This shows how xenophobic and this supremacist mindset is in the humans have. So he's not very reasonable, but even he knew, based on the lack of evidence he had, that he really couldn't do much, at least at this point, to put the blame on Eco and Kai. So he let Eco go, and it's because of Eco calling in Jace that Talos, this police chief, didn't really get what he wanted to get at that point. At least he didn't get to have any reason to have any evidence to proceed with even tougher action against Eco and Kai. Because of that video, Jace provided that they got spared, at least for now. And the way they treated Jace, him going in there, basically all of them are guilty in this man's mind. Just being different. If you're not guilty, you're still guilty to him. But he's just an awful person, this police chief, when it comes to foreigners. And he tried to pit Iko and Kai against each other there, because he convinced that somehow that Kai was the one responsible for these two murders. Yeah, this part here, this episode, it just shows the brutality of Xenilians. And I wonder, do they really, these ambassadors here, Iko and Kai, do they really have any protection here? Is it really like a serious position, or being an ambassador, or is this like some student program? I think it's more like a student program ambassadorial, where they're not really ambassadors like on behalf of a diplomatic nation, like a diplomatic political nature. I mean, like diplomats, like where a government sends them out there and they have special rights and diplomatic immunity and all that stuff. I mean, I think these guys are just students, like students coming to share their ideas and all that stuff. So I guess in that sense they don't really have any power, because I mean they're diplomats, but they're not like really diplomats. You know, like 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 a government sending you out. You in in a official position, in an official capacity, with diplomatic immunity and the office of your own, all that stuff, and staff. Um, so all this brutality. um, okay, so looks like now I already read past this point, but after a while, Talos lets Kai out also. So all right, so we're gonna talk with Jace in the next part, and this desk here is gonna make a little creaking noises here. But anyway, so we'll talk with Jace next time and we'll talk to him about what happened, and I'm happy he didn't mention both Iko and Kai doing the sexual stuff. Yeah, I'm happy he didn't do all that. Talk mention that to the chief. He just talked about the general stuff they did at the club, like what everybody would do. All right, so thank you all very much for watching. Bye.